President Obama on jobs. Trillions of your tax dollars have been spent trying to stimulate growth, but unemployment is still extremely high and actually moving higher. What's the administration's policy going to be now? Democrat strategist Krystal is here. Well, forgive me, I have to ask about your name. Krystal Ball, I mean, you could look into it, I suppose, for the future, but how do you get a name like that?
You know, honestly, so it is my maiden name, so my parents actually did that to me. And my dad was a PhD physicist. He did his dissertation on crystals, and they just liked the name.
They knew what they were doing when
they knew what they were doing, yeah. And people always think that they were hippies, but they actually weren't hippies at all. They just liked the name.
Well, why don't you use a middle name or something and get away from it?
What's wrong with Krystal Ball? I like it.
Because everybody's thinking, what kind of a name is that?
It's memorable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's pluses and minuses.
Okay.
But at least you'll remember it.
Yeah. All right, I had to ask, and I apologize for prying into your background. Okay.
Not at all, not at all.
Now then, I want to use you as a reporter.
Okay.
You're a Democrat, you're inside the party, and we've been asking the same question all day long. What is the president's new policy on jobs going to be? Can you tell me?
I think that they're actually working right now to figure that out. Because to be honest with you, I think this latest jobs number was a real wake-up call. They were assuming that things were going to continue to sort of slowly get better.
Okay.
And now that this new number has come out, I think they're really having to readjust. Now, politics is the art of the possible. I personally would like to see us helping states and local governments to avoid layoffs. I'd like to see a national infrastructure investment bank. I think the president would like to see similar things. But the reality is that there's no political will for that. So what we're likely to see is a pivot to, okay, can we extend the payroll tax holiday? Can we move that to being the part that the employers pay as well? Because tax cuts have a chance of passing a Republican Congress. No stimulative spending does.
But do you think that would work? I mean, simply extending the payroll tax holiday, that's not going to really turn the economy around, is it?
No, I don't think it's
I guess my question is geared towards, look, if the policy of the past, which was stimulus, record government spending, if that was not as successful as the president wanted to be, will he change course? Would he entertain the idea of a real shift in course away from government and towards private enterprise? Do you think he would do that?
Well, I think, first of all, the stimulus spending, although it did not do everything we wanted it to, the CBO says that unemployment is about 1% to 2% lower than it would have been without the spending.
It didn't
so
work
to say that it wasn't
did it?
effective is not true. It was effective. It was not large enough.
It was supposed to keep the unemployment rate below 8.5%. It did not.
Well, that was not something that the president ever said. That came out in an economic report before he was even inaugurated. So that's really been attributed to him. It's not true.
So
but
you don't think it was a failure?
To get back to your point, I don't think it was a failure. I think it should have been more. I think we didn't do enough.
So
I think we took our eye off the ball.
So you're saying it was not a failure, so we will get more of the same. The president, in his heart, he wants to keep spending money. Is that it?
I think what the president would like to do, again, and look, I'm not in his head, so I can't tell you exactly, but he would like to continue helping states, avoiding layoffs. This latest jobs number,
That's a bailout of the states.
A big part of it was a loss in public sector jobs. The private sector added jobs, the public sector lost jobs.
He did, look. $200 billion of the stimulus program went to bail out the states, to keep people, teachers and what have you, in work.
That's right.
We've gone through $200 billion. And you say the president wants to do more?
Well, I think that would be the most effective means of raising employment right now. But the thing is, the other thing that we have to avoid is we've shifted from a discussion of jobs and a discussion of unemployment. We've shifted the debate almost totally to deficit reduction. And we have to be very careful there, because what we're seeing in the UK is they passed a package very much like what Republicans would like to pass here, with draconian spending cuts in the short term, plus reforms over the medium to long term. No question, everybody agrees we need the reforms over the medium to the long term, but we cannot afford to have draconian spending cuts right now, because that would really put the brakes on our economy, just as it has in the UK.
You want to keep spending as we are now. You want to do that?
I do.
You think and the president wants to do that?
The president, you know, I can't speak for him, but I think that would be the most effective policy.
$1.6 trillion deficit.
But
we've got to keep on borrowing then.
We have, again, no question, medium to long term, we have to deal with that issue. But our immediate crisis is unemployment. And inflation is low. It's below 2%. Interest rates are very low. We have a little bit of wiggle room.
Why don't small businesses hire people? The answer we keep getting is the uncertainty of regulation in the future. Small businesses and medium and big businesses, they're all facing the same uncertainty over energy regulation, financial regulation, and healthcare regulation. Couldn't you say, for example, remove some of that uncertainty?
Well, and the president, as a matter of fact,
pause for a while?
And the president has really worked recently to cut back on regulations
Like
which are
what?
onerous. But he identified 30 different regulations that were onerous, that didn't make sense.
What about the 2,000 pages of Dodd-Frank financial
But
reform?
I'm saying,
what about the 1,000 pages of so far unwritten healthcare rules?
And I don't deny that there are regulations out there which are not helpful and which are just fundamentally hindering economic job creation. But what I am saying is we need to have a distinction between good regulation, which is there to protect consumers, to protect people, and bad regulation.
Bit late.
That's a debate that we should have.
The crisis
but again,
is now.
Politics is the art of the possible. So I don't think we're going to be seeing any major spending packages, probably not even proposed.
Sure.
What we're likely to see is some tax cuts is what we're likely to see.
Okay. Krystal Ball, a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
we do
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.